Hey, it's Stu, and I'm going to take you with me for a second to see my unhaul pile. Now, I did that because I'm feeling guilty about this haul today because it's a big one and because I didn't need to haul books. I have to deal with this guilt every time I do a haul. I understand and agree with concerns over overconsumption. I deeply contemplate the hobby of book collecting, and what that means. So let me explain. Besides that giant unhaul, which are mostly books I read, right? There's still some are unhaul. There's books that I unshelved. I've actually gone over many, but not all of them. I have created more space on my shelves, and on shelves where books didn't go, where I had other things. But I am kind of in a get rid of stuff with maybe a move coming up. So I went to the Goodwill today and I donated a bunch of non-book items. And then I thought, oh, I'm just going to go and see if there's any books. And I can't say there always are. Often there's something maybe interesting, but kind of my criteria is it has to be a book that I know who or what it is. I know the author. I'm really very likely to read the book. So I'm leaving kind of experimental finds behind me for now. Even maybe when I unhaul these into little free libraries, I may or may not be experimental, but likely not. I have some books that are still kind of, I haven't read the author. I don't know the book. It hasn't come to my knowledge either through trusted sources or however. And so, yeah, I had criteria, and I feel like, like anyone who collects more and more and reads a lot, you kind of hone your discernment. You know what kind of reading phase you're in right now. And so here we go. This is my haul. I'm going to talk, the first bit I'm going to talk about are books that are going to be on TBR or on TBR right now. So I'm doing a little TBR shuffle, which is kind of exciting about doing hauls. You can kind of shuffle around what's really interesting to read or not. This first one, The House on Mango Street. I think I've ran into The House on Mango Street before and passed it up because it will be a reread for me. It is a novella. I felt compelled to get this one, this 25th anniversary edition. I feel like I'm in a little bit of a reread mood. So it came to me when I'm thinking about doing well, I know I have an upcoming TBR that is Latin American Heritage Month. And as it is a little novella, it is on hold for forever as digital or audio. But this font seems pretty agreeable even in this light. So, and I have a friend who maybe wants to do a buddy read for it. So I'm taking The House on Mango Street and I'm putting it actually in the up and coming TBR pile to be discussed in a future video. This next one, The Chosen by Chaim Poltuk. This is a National Book Award finalist. And it called to me for that because my current TBR is National Book Award authors. I don't know if you would classify this as a classic, but it's in classic territory because its original print is in the 1960s. 1967, I believe, and this is exploring a young friendship between two Jewish boys that are grappling with their differences in Brooklyn, and also the stories or what has happened during the Holocaust. I said recently that World War II is maybe a little overexplored for me, or overrepresented, not overexplored, overrepresented in book settings and time periods. However, this is contemporary fiction, of the time, and I think that lands a little bit differently. Chaim Poltuk, I think, wrote a lot of books. And I am not familiar with him as an author. What drew me to this was the National Book Award finalist. So I'd like to give him a try to see if that's now an author that I want to have on my radar. It also came with a Amazon Books bookmark stuck right about there in the book, which may or may not mean that someone read it till there. This is going on and is, going on which I'm about to start. In fact, have started one book of National Book Award authors, winners, reading list. Speaking of National Book Award winners and readers, what's currently on is the Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I have 3 books on my bookshelf by Jesmyn Ward. This by far is the most loved one, and it's very annotated. Yeah, there's a lot of annotations in this book, and it's maybe my oldest as well, the one that I've had the longest. So I thought that I would start there. This is another Goodwill haul. I got this at a Goodwill in a neighboring town. When I was being exploratory, I actually hadn't heard of Jesmyn Ward, and although the book was a bit, as I say, bunged up, I was really compelled to this book. So I think I'm going to leave it there. However, I found the National Book Award winning book, which is Salvage the Bones today. This is, unlike its friend there, it is a beautifully maintained book. I suspect no one even ever read this book. I'm really excited to be its first reader of this actual book. It also has a tree on the front, and this is what made me a little conflicted was I'm now finishing up. I'm in my last bit of books with trees on the front, on the cover, TBR prompt. So there is part of me that maybe wants to give it a try over Sing Unburied Sing, or do them both. So I haven't decided. This is really front of mind, though. This book is going to sit kind of unshelved with the other Jesmyn Wards until I decide. Also another book, which is, I had to put it on hold, but it's up and coming. I have several Booker Prize winner, Booker Prize author coming up, as it's the Booker season as well. And this John Banville is The Sea. I'm almost positive I read this book. I think I read this book in 2007 when I was living in Northern England. For some reason, when I read the synopsis, and it felt really familiar, and I think, again, I'm kind of in a reread season. If not, this is another Irish author. I've already stated my, founded or unfounded bias towards Irish authors. And so I would have maybe felt captivated towards this book anyway, but certainly me wanting to give Booker a chance through this next Booker reading prompt that's coming up made me grab this also beautifully conditioned, like seriously brand new book. Turtles All the Way Down. I found this book before. I let it go because it is young adult. For some reason, I guess once I started hauling, I was like, no, don't hold back. If it's something you're interested in reading, this is like homage to Nancy Drew young adult sleuth book happening. I'm interested to see how John Green is going to write this young female character. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's some exploration of mental illness maybe done in this book. I have a friend that I talked to this book about who absolutely wants it. So if I do or do not read it within the next memorable period, I'll unhaul it just directly to that friend. I got an Isabel Allende. This is one from the 90s, The Infinite Plan. I have espoused quite a bit of an Isabel Allende collection. This one is highly annotated for the first about quarter, and then not so more. Maybe then, and the annotations, went through over this with a friend today too, suggests that someone was reading this for a purpose, like to write an essay, maybe book club, something like this. And then, you know, there is something that kind of looks like a bookmark situation going on here in that, on page 71 in the last annotations. Nothing to say there other than that I do like the story of the actual book. It's going with all my other Isabel Allende's. I did finish The Wind Knows My Name this summer. It's one of her newer ones, and it is in this giant on-haul stack. And yeah, it's such a also beautiful book and beautifully maintained. It's such an interesting thing for me to do, to, you know, build collections and also unhaul, but I stay committed. The next book, beautiful cover, beautifully conditioned, is Jezebel by Megan Barnard. I'm really interested in the retelling of the story of Jezebel. It's compelling to me. This book is 2023, and to say that it hasn't got any book award stickers with such a compelling idea makes me think that this was a really good idea, but not necessarily highly sophisticated in its execution. I believe it's also a very popular book. So I'm here. I mean, I'm good for an author that hasn't necessarily hit their craft. This is my speculation. If she can keep me in this story of Jezebel, and absolutely look at this book. It's beautiful. The Seville Communion, Arturo Pérez Reverte, is a Spanish author. Mystery setting Seville, in translation. So this is a book in translation. Yeah, I'm excited. There were several more books by this author, and I had to choose which one I thought compelled me most. Has somebody's name written in it. Somebody wanted to, yeah, I like that too. Anyway, to give this author a chance. So I guess this is going to go on mystery thriller shelf. Okay. Now, here's where stuff gets interesting. So I've decided to unhaul this Michael Cunningham. I've recently just hauled The Hours. I have read The Hours. I've decided, again, I'm kind of in a reread mood. So I decided to haul The Hours by Michael Cunningham, which I believe is his Pulitzer winner. And it was compelling for me for two reasons. It was the 50th anniversary of Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf, which I did a listen to. I listened to an audio. Great listen. Just what a amazing, you know, obviously we know that's a classic. And The Hours is a retelling, and I can't remember anything more than I read it. And I liked it. I remember kind of liking it. I'm saying all that to say is I have this other Michael Cunningham book. This was gifted to me. This was given to me out of a book stack. Somebody was sort of unhauling books, a friend. This book, I kind of skimmed through some of it. Fantastic queer contemporary literature from the 90s. There's no digital or audio version of this book, and where the font is fine, I'm losing my summer days. And if I'm not, I normally don't like to read except for well, I've just noticed my eyesight's kind of not what it used to be, and I get headaches easily, period. And so I like to have audio or digital versions to switch to, not existing. So I wanted to say I'm unhauling this. It's okay. I've thought about it. It was almost in the unhaul pile last time I discussed it. And I feel less bad because I have The Home at the End of the World, which I hauled today, kind of, I guess, to replace it, to have, yeah, my Michael Cunningham collection. Building a collection that I plan to unhaul. This one looks like it's written through multiple points of view through these different characters. It's a 1990s book. I seem to be hauling a lot of books from the 1990s right now, but there you go. It's a replacement. The next book has a story too, and here it goes. When I got this out of a little free library, I said, shall I keep this? This looks like it's part of a sequel in a duology. It's in decent condition. I remembered really liking Empire Falls, which I believe, was a Pulitzer winner. I don't really remember much about it other than I think I was reading Pulitzer winners at the time, and the Empire Falls, I believe, was one of my favorite. This is, some 20 years ago, right? So here I am finding this in a little free library saying, should I give Richard Russo a chance? I used an offer to revisit. And why would I want book 2 if I don't have book 1? So here's what I said to myself. I'm going to hold on to it. And if book 1 comes around, I'll grab it and then I'll keep the both of them and then I'll stay more committed to reading them. So it came around. There it came. Needs a little bit of tape, but there it is. I think this book is actually in really great condition. Sans this little tear, which could happen with somebody just putting it on and off a bookshelf. So this is not a book that I'll be able to read. It's got that dark font, so I'm checked to make sure that it existed digitally, because the physical copy probably won't be accessible to me at all. So one asks, why would you even get it? I hear ya. I feel ya. I do like to touch it, and it really was the deciding factor. Me finding and getting this book was the deciding factor. Somewhere in it is this nice little, you may also like. Part of a receipt. So this, you may also like, part of the receipt suggests 3 other Richard Russo books, but also a Khaled Hosseini book, The Mountains Echoed. So there you go. I'll keep the suggestions in there because I like little bits. Last 2, okay? I know it's ridiculous. I know. How is it that I have now 3 Roddy Doyle books in my collection? How is it that I have a Spouse of Roddy Doyle collection? And I found the first one the day after I watched the Booker shortlist announcement and saw him in his little chair position for this year's judges. I still remain pretty convinced that Patty Clark Ha 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 is going to be my inaugural. To the best of my knowledge, I don't remember reading Roddy Doyle. He did exist around the time that I read a lot. I may have read him. However, I don't remember. So therefore, if you don't remember, does it exist? I don't know. As far as reading a book, this one's beautiful, in beautiful condition. Probably going to sit on my shelf with this one, which I found yesterday for $1. Yeah, and be part of a Roddy Doyle collection. I really hope I like him, because here I am getting books of his and not sure. The last one is probably the book that I can't guarantee I'm going to read. It was collection building, and by the time I made this decision on this book, I had already, the floodgates had opened and my restraint was less. To be fair, there was yet another book by this author, and I said, no, you're going to choose just one. You're not just going to grab them because you want a collection by this author. Known to me, it's Joyce Carol Oates, classic Americana. However, this is Cardiff. So if that's Cardiff, Wales, indeed it's not. It's Maine. Our setting is Maine. Yeah. I'm in Maine right now, in the 1990s, in Tex and Molly. I'm really enjoying Maine as a setting, and I'm really, really enjoying Tex and Molly, in the afterworld. Oh, the font in this book is so agreeable, and this is a collection of novellas. Yeah, 4 novellas of suspense. So it's beautiful. It's an author I can trust. It's classified as thriller, but I'm not going to put it on my mystery thriller shelf. It's going to go with The Babysitter. And unless The Babysitter is classified as thriller, the one I've recently hauled that's signed, because Joyce Carol Oates in her 80s, late 80s, still writing. If they're both classified as thriller, I guess I'll make them move. I'll move them to the mystery thriller shelf, but if not, this will stay on general fiction, even though it's classified even on the barcode as thriller, to keep The Babysitter company. And then, yes, my library of only thrifted, only free books, of which I unhaul 100% after reading to little free libraries, friends of the library donations, or my friends or loved ones. It feels collection building. That's what I'm doing for no good reason. That's why I bought this. Even though, I mean, it didn't fit the criteria of I see myself reading this anytime soon, I don't regret having it. So I guess we'll leave this video with that sigh.